Appreciate you. Gentlemen, good to see you.
How are you?
Doing all right. I'm less busy than you are. I can tell you that. But I am busy because I'm trying to figure out what to do with this vintage item here, which has suddenly become, potentially worth something. I don't know. Let's see.
We'll sign it. We'll sign it for you the next time we see you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I got this in the closet at UMortgage. Are you keeping the space that I was in?
For the time being.
Yeah, good. Well, congratulations, gentlemen. Big move here. The industry's obviously talking a lot about it, and I appreciate you coming on this show to have a conversation. And a lot of people are talking about that you guys used to beef, whatever. I'm going to try and not repeat all the same questions that everybody else has asked, by the way. I'm just going to have a fun time. So I came up with this meme. You see on the bottom right here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the ring. It looks like you're both connecting, so we'll call it a draw. But then look how amazing AI is. Look at this.
AI is so good.
You both look great. And, I have to say, just right off the bat, I started thinking about you, Mike, and kind of how you sound and how you look. And I thought to myself, if Mike was going to be a singer, what kind of singer would Mike be?
Oh, dude.
And it's hands down country singer. That's the answer, right?
Man. I got the guitar. Let's go.
Oh, shit. Who knew? I didn't know that. Can you play the giddy? Let's go right now. What do you got?
Absolutely play some songs. Come on now. What you
want to hear? I don't know. I like classic rock. So if you can bust out some Eagles.
I can do Eagles. I got a couple Eagles songs. We go Lion Eyes, Desperado. What do you want?
Like, give me 30 seconds of Lion Eyes. Can you really do that?
You have your pick with you? Since I played it, I'd have to pull up the thing.
Yeah, all right, we'll do that next time.
I'm just strumming
now.
Hold
on a second. Now we got to get to Casa here, because if Casa was a singer, I think he would be an opera singer. but here's the thing. But bro, had you gotten Casa 2 years ago, he's like a size 90. Like, this is the Casa you get. This is the Casa you would have gotten a couple of years ago. And, fortunately for you, this is the Casa you get now. Look how slim and beautiful he is. It's amazing.
And I shaved.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got the
thing
best.
Is, though, you haven't seen my before pictures.
Oh,
different.
I need to see that.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, go check out Tyler Hodgson. He had a post yesterday of both Mike and Mai's 2023 pictures. His post was, these were the two guys that were beating everybody up on social media, and were both, overweight and looked.
Anthony, I think you look bad. I was horrible back then.
I was worse.
Let me find your text, Greg. I'm going to send you my favorite picture to share with people, my before and after. But you know what the cool thing is, Anthony, you get Dr. Boyd now right away.
Yep.
Dr. Boyd's probably responsible. Well, he helped be responsible for my transition. So nice. I got to find the photo, but I'll send it to you.
Do it. Yeah, send it to me. What were you guys were beefing? I'm on the other side of the pond, right? So I don't have that as much visibility as people in the wholesale channel. What was the beef about? I mean, is it just two guys that are proud about what they do? Just lean in because that's just what you guys do. I mean, was there anything in particular, Mike, that it was about? Was it the whole brokers are better thing that Casa created?
No, I love that
shitstorm, Hurricane 5, Category 5.
When you look at Casa and I's history at the beginning of it, right? I used to chase this guy around the country just trying to get him to know my name. And I went and finally, I think, got him to listen to me a little bit about some of the AIM events that he was putting on. I think, of course, it started as Brawl, but I was a big advocate of it. Whenever, something was going on online, Anthony would like, hey man, can you give me a link? Can you help me out here? And I'd get the NEXA Nation on it and just crush. We sat down one time in Philly when Ramon Walker was getting beat up, and he's like, hey man, can you help this guy? And I'm like, yeah. In fact, we ran a con like, who can get more comments on that post, right? And then we both came to Ramon's defense,
Yep.
and really defended him and shut down the haters on that situation. But so we were strictly aligned. Honestly, I think it's at the end of the day, it was, for me at least, it was largely. I didn't like the way that he recruited, right? Anthony said that, hey, brokers shouldn't recruit brokers. And I thought he was using his position at, AIM to have that list and knew all of our marketing. And I didn't like it. But at the end of the day, hindsight 2020, guess what I'm doing?
Same thing.
Whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I have a confession. I want to make a confession here. I became friends with Casa strictly out of fear. I mean that. Like, this guy was ripping the IMB space. He put Steve Jacobson's picture on a clown shirt with a big nose. And I was like, people on my executive team are like, who is this Casa guy? And when are we getting hit? I'm like, all right, let me try and befriend him.
Let me take one for the team.
Yes. So I came up there and we met in Philly. I think we met at the we met
Four
at
Seasons.
the Four
We had
Seasons.
some marks.
And we hit it off. I fell in love. I'm like, I can't not like this guy. I'm like, how can we work together? He's like, you're too old. There's no way I can work. And he literally said that. He's like, you're like older than my grandfather, which Mike, you're 49. I'm 55. So I don't know. Are you making an exception on the age thing, Casa?
51.
Oh, you're 51.
No, you caught what I said. They said, well, you guys, what, you grew up? I said, so what, I grew up at 49?
Oh, yeah. I listened to the Housing Wire interview. Yeah, I
I'm
listened to the
51.
Housing Wire. That was Sarah. You did a great job. But like the go ahead, Mike.
I sent you that picture. I want you to zoom in just on me.
Of course.
Dan, that was like, seriously, pasty white boy banker look going on right there. So
We were dying looking at this picture.
I'm sending it to myself. I'm going to see if I can pull this off while we're talking. So Casa, why do people beef so hard in the wholesale space? I feel like on the lending side, there's a little bit more boundaries. Is it just because it's a little bit more of a wild, wild west and you have more onesie twosies? Like, what is the explanation? Well, first of all, do you agree that people tend to lean in a little harder when it comes to the wholesale space?
Yeah, well, I mean, first and foremost, I would like to apologize to the mortgage industry because I started this. I was the example, and I started this, and now I have to deal with it because the inmates are running the asylum and they've turned on me. I used to have them under control. Now they come after me. So, I think in the broker side, you're dealing with way more independence. If I'm an LO and I work at Fairway Mortgage or Movement Mortgage, like, they've got an HR department, they've got sales leaders. Like, if somebody kind of goes nuts on social, they're going to get wrangled pretty quickly. In our world, there's no wrangling. I mean, like, if you're at a certain company, maybe the company leader will wrangle you. But if you're a broker owner, you're just out there, slinging it. So I just think there's less filters out there. I mean, that's my personal opinion. What do you think, Mike?
I completely agree, and he is responsible for it. Because look, when the brawl movement came out, I mean, just the word alone, brawl, right? And I was like, yeah, let's go, right? And so I was all into it too. And I did say back in the day, I was very vocal about this. As AIM was originally founded by Anthony, and the reason it worked is because Anthony was able to rule it with kind of an iron fist and say, no, you're not going to do these things. And when that iron fist went away, for me specifically, it unraveled quick.
Yeah, real quick.
The mob will come for you fast if you don't have somebody there with that iron fist. And Katie was just not able to be that. She wasn't able to control that beast that Anthony created. So for me, it unraveled rapidly, right? And then Acosta kind of became part of my target for it, justly or not. I got a lot of wrong in that timeline.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. It's in the past, obviously, but I think it says a lot about how people that it's like people that beef the hardest. Usually, there's something more to it. There's something behind it. There's an admiration. There's a respect. There's some kind of a mutual thing, and really, that exists here. And a lot of my best relationships in the business came from people that I beefed with. who I would do anything for. So, I can really appreciate that. And I think that's great fertilizer for what you guys are going to set out to do. And so, one thing I'd like to know is, what are you going to set out to do? Like I listened to your interview with Housing Wire. I understand the two of you combined now, Anthony with your 2 billion and Mike with your 12 plus, you're at 14. And I heard that with Tempo, which is Anthony's latest, stroke of genius on the tech side. I mean, the guy's a technologist first in my eyes, by the way. He's great at mortgage. He's insane at tech. Like he is, dude, he's on the tech Mount Rushmore. There is no question about it. He doesn't get enough credit. I gave this to him when I interviewed him on one-on-one. I feel that way about you. So if Tempo can deliver one more loan, he's multitasking, by the way. This guy's unbelievable. Dude, cut the shit. I got like, give me 15 minutes, you asshole. What's going on here, dude? Dude, that's such bullshit.
I was just taking a screenshot of this picture so I could post it on Facebook.
Unbelievable. This guy's insane. I mean, Mike, who's got a plane and more money than all of us, is giving me his full attention. But you, unbelievable.
Dude, I got to promote. I got to make sure I get people on the LinkedIn Live.
How many planes? We're not going to get into that. Let's not go down that road. So, although, listen, I will tell you, I've never flown private. That's a fact. Just so you know, I've never. All my friends have. Somehow, I have never been on a private plane. Keep that in mind. It's not a lie. So I heard you say that one more loan out of your existing staff gets you to 20 billion.
No, it gets us beyond that. One more loan per person would probably get us well beyond that.
Well, Anthony was probably being conservative.
We average roughly 0.9 loans per loan officer, right? And I got 12 billion. So if I can get one more loan out of them all, I'm probably doubling. I'm going to 1.8 loans per loan officer. So I'm going.
So do you have a goal? Is it 50 billion in 18 months? Like when you dream, Mike Cordes, how do you dream when it comes to numbers?
I have one goal that I'm pursuing, right? You guys were talking earlier about, what somebody's end goal is, end game, Mike. Outside of death, right? For NEXA, my goal is congressional hearings. And I don't kid when I say this, by the way. I'm not kidding. I mean, Anthony, I'm dragging you into this one now, right? We're going right to congressional hearings. It's going to be us with a couple of our key partners, obviously, sitting in front of Congress saying, how in God's earth do you guys own the U.S. mortgage origination market? And that's my goal, is to offer more things for more loan officers than anybody ever has in history, to the point where it's just that, that we own the market. So,
Mike, let's go a little deeper on that. So you're on Capitol Hill. You've got a hearing in front of the banking committee. What are you saying? What are the points of contention that you would like to have addressed? At the top of that list.
I don't know what the argument is going to be, but I'm going to supposedly try to defend why NEXA shouldn't be broken up into 1 million pieces, and I'm probably going to lose, right? And then I'm going to step out, and the reporters are going to sit there expecting me to be upset, but I'm not going to be. I'm going to say this was the goal.
What about compensation? There has been a lot of conversation about how brokers are paid. There's a cap in a lot of instances versus lenders. People in my side of the world are able to get 4, 5, 6 points on a loan. Is that something that you'd like to see reconciled? Does that in some way play on in your favor, because it forces you to be leaner and you sell a sharp rate? So
we don't have a cap. We have non-delegated correspondence, the same way that you guys are correspondent. The difference being is in retail, you guys make the decision directly at the company. We have our own underwriters at these companies, but they quote make the official decision. So I have a lot less risk. I have no risk.
Well, and maybe that's a reason why somebody should work with you. So let me rephrase it. If I want to go open up my own shop and I'm going to be a broker.
Pure broker only?
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to talk to Tom about that. We don't.
No, I am capped. There is a limit, right? Because I don't have the warehouse.
But that's
okay. Yes. Okay. Got it. But that's not the play you're running. So right now, this is a perfect spot to do this, because there is a lot of confusion. There's NEXA mortgage. There's NEXA lending. Do you have warehouse lines? There are these people that drive the wedge right down the middle in wholesale. We know who they are, by the way, the Crazos. Yeah. There's a couple of names. I'm not going to mention any. And they're like, if you have one warehouse line,
you're going to hell.
You're going to hell, and you're not a broker. You're not a broker.
Dark cage somewhere. Yeah.
So how are you built, Mike, and how are you different? Are you a lender? Are you a broker? Are you sort of the sweet spot in between them both?
Well, a lot of people don't know what to call NEXA right now, right? Because NEXA lending is in fact a broker, right? At the end of the day, but we do non-deal correspondent, so we're still through correspondent. We just don't underwrite the loan directly. Now, people construe that as we lose control, right? But that's not true, because we talk to the same exact underwriters on every single one of our loans, or at the same, right? But we can choose which underwriters we want to use. Do we want to use the underwriters at one company or the other company, right? Depending on their guideline sets. And so we know who has what overlay. So do we really lose control because we have the same underwriter? NEXA is so big that we can have the same underwriters. But then you throw to the mix this EvoLend thing that I'm now doing, which is exactly what was reserved for retail, right? The MSRs, all that good stuff. So now we do that too. So now the question is, what is NEXA? Well, we're not retail, but we're also not really pure broker. So it's a hybrid, I guess. There's not really a name for it. Maybe we can use our chat GPTs or our claws to figure out a name, mix the word retail and broker together. And that's what we are at the end of the day. But we still, and Anthony and I are firmly believe in the value of choice for our loan officers to use any lender that they want to use, right? So like we're setting up partnerships now with the other wholesale investors that will work with EvoLend and that MSR to do those things.
So you've said publicly servicing is available to us.
Yes.
What does that exactly mean? Are you brokering out wholesale? Are you partnering with someone? I'm sorry,
No,
brokering out servicing. I didn't mean wholesale. Brokering that out, and then there's some kind of a share there, or are you personally servicing NEXA loans?
Both is the answer.
Okay.
NEXA is not servicing anything. EvoLend is servicing.
Got it. Yeah, because that's a separate entity. Yeah,
it's a
wholly owned
separate
entity.
But it's Fannie, Freddie, Ginnie servicing, right? We have the tickets. We are able to do it. So EvoLend could fund the loans as a wholesale lender for NEXA directly.
Yeah, Mike, you didn't answer my question about numbers.
Go ahead. What do you got?
Well, I asked you, when you dream about numbers, what do you think is possible for you in the next 3 years?
As far as
volume,
oh, I think 30-40 billion is not a problem in the next few years.
Okay. Well, you got this guy now with Anthony Casa, who's one of the most structured, organized people in the industry, who obviously drives some of the highest originations per loan officer. I know that training is something that you're really excited about, Mike. Anthony, when you think about this opportunity, what are the things that get you most excited about it?
I think there's a lot. I mean, there really is a lot, because for me, I've been in startup mode from day one. And when you're in startup mode, you're kind of, you're scrappy, but you don't have the luxury of a big balance sheet. And Mike has really built a great company with a big balance sheet, and we've got some exciting things that we're probably not going to get to today. But like for me, it's like 4,000 LOs. To your point, if we can add a loan per month, that's 4,000 loans per month. So we were able to do that. UMortgage, we've got our loan officer. We've been able to double our loans per loan officer, but we only have 250 LOs. So if we can bring tempo to this ecosystem, we can bring the sales culture, the systems, the processes. A lot of things that your guy Daniel Saw does, but he does it, on a more local level. But if we can bring that on the national level, man, and add a loan per month, that's 4,000 loans per month. That's 50,000 loans per year. So my focus is on how we create that sales culture, get that buy-in, get everybody running the plays daily, using tempo, and then we don't even have to add another LO in order for us to get to the next level. That's the beauty of it. So I've never had that kind of opportunity before. I've had to always build from scratch. Now we get to take a platform that's already built and take it to the next level.
Let's look at UMortgage for a minute. When you look back on the company, how will you view it in terms of success or otherwise?
I definitely don't think we reached our potential. If I had to be honest with you, I think, no excuses. I don't think I was, fully equipped to be the best CEO for the first couple of years of the business. I was way over my head for a couple of years. By the time I got my health and got my shit together, just personally, and I really was able to take command of the business and get it on the right track, the market was just so challenging that I was like, man, that's when Mike and I really kind of started to think about this partnership. But I think overall, like building a $2 billion company in 5 years, I think a lot of people would think that's good. For me personally, that wasn't the goal. The goal was to be, closer to $4 to $5 billion by now. But, at the end of the day, the opportunity that's in front of us is kind of what my focus is on, is how do we take this 2 billion and turn it into 5 or 10 or even more.
How long had you had these voices in your head? I mean, I think we all have voices in our head right now wondering, what's the next shoe that's going to drop in this economy, the war, rates, and just trying to stay relevant. Like, so when did you start to think, man, this is getting really, really tough. Maybe it makes sense to start having conversations.
I think, I think practically speaking, I don't like to play on defense. So I think last year, obviously our friends over at CCM, Ron and the boys did a pretty good job of taking some of our people. And I think at that point, I felt like we were playing defense. And to me, that's not where I excel. That's not where I operate good. So I think that was the first time I said, hey, listen, if you can't play offense, you're not going to win this game. You're the quarterback. Like, you need to be on offense, and you're going to get cleaned up pretty quickly. So that was a pretty big wake up call. I think by the time Mike and I started talking, I started seeing the things that he had in his arsenal and said, okay, well, we could play offense with that, if we're on that team together.
Yeah. When did you start talking? When's the first time you had a conversation, roughly speaking, Mike?
What was it? 45 days ago or so?
Maybe 60 days ago.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That two powerhouses were able to get this done. Deals don't get done like this in 45 to 60 days. So, Mike, why did it go down so fast? Moving this big of a ship in the ocean. It's not typical, I don't think.
It made sense. Anthony moves quick. I move quick. And so we looked
decisive.
at it.
Yeah, decisive, right?
We had a phone call first, and a lot of that was waiting for our meeting, quite frankly. Once we sat down and actually met and walked to downtown Philly for a couple of days, we got it done very, very quickly. There wasn't a back and forth thing. It was like, this is what I want. Okay, that looks good. Okay, what about this piece, that piece? It was just about putting the little pieces in the puzzle together, but we immediately saw the overall picture.
I love that. I love people that execute that fast. That's how it should be. Why do people sit around and deliberate?
It's because attorneys mess it up, right? Anthony recognized that, yes, we had some people review the stuff, don't get me wrong, but we didn't let them get in the middle and mess the whole thing up. So,
Mike, could you keep up with Anthony? Because the guy, like, he climbs tall mountains now with these 80-pound vests on. How exhausted did you get? Not that you're not, by the way, this is not an insult, just so you know, but Casa is like full blown workoutaholic. So did you, at any point were you like, dude, can we take a break?
Well, first of all, if I was, I never would have admitted it. I will admit he walks and does, physical, that type of activity. Like, I'm in the gym 5-6 days a week. I got 4 tonals in my life at different properties, right? And I don't go to play. I got a lifetime membership in case I'm on the road and I don't have what I need if the hotel sucks. But I'm in the gym a lot. But he's got the better, steps. He's got more steps and running in his life than I do. So,
look,
don't get me wrong in the legs, but
while I have you two together, I want to bring up Matt Ishbia's name because look, he's been taking a lot of heat lately. For a lot of different reasons and whatever the plight is of his current company. I'm not sure any of us really know. But I know that he's had a role in both of your careers. And while we're all together and we've got so many eyeballs on this conversation, I'd like to just for you to reflect on Matt and what he's meant to your business and, kind of what you think of the state of UWM right now. Mike, you can start.
I'm not worried about the state of UWM, right? I'm not a major shareholder. I got some shares, right? When it hit $1, I'm a buyer, not a seller at that point. There's no way you're going to tell me that company's only worth a couple $2 billion with the infrastructure that it has. That's ridiculous, right? And I'm not worried about it. He's doubling down on his success tracks, which is our most valuable piece of that organization. He's a great business partner, is what he is. People think that like Matt and I are these great friends. We hang out together. I've never had dinner at his house. He's never had dinner at my house. He's a phenomenal business partner, right? Up until the day that I'm not a phenomenal business partner to him or he's not to me, right now we're outstanding business partners. That's what we do. I bring him value. He brings me value. The guy's not going anywhere. I wouldn't be placing any bets against Matt Ishbia by any means. His teams could care less about it. They're returning to work. Our loan officers don't give a damn what the stock price is. That's just the ability for people on social to poke and everything and say there's problems. But they're closing loans. They use UWM because they're efficient. They use UWM because they have relationships with them. UWM is winning this game because of the relationships they have with a massive sales force. And they have a simplistic system that it's easy to get through their system. So loan officers know it, and they know it well. He doesn't have to have the best. Everybody complains that he doesn't have the best rate. He doesn't have to get the volume because he has simplicity in what he does. And I've always said, if I'm going to be retail with one company, I'm going to be retail UWM. Their systems are the easiest in the world to use, is the reality. So I was fine with it. And I see all these cheers online about, well, UWM stock is suffering, so they couldn't support UMortgage. Guys, I've been through UMortgage's financials in this transition. They didn't have a single shred to do with UMortgage and their financials and supporting them, right? All those notions. And I said this years ago because this all came out, and I was the poster child to want to, air out any laundry on Anthony if it came out. But I said it years ago, guys, there's no actual evidence outside of you guys just thinking that UWM supports UMortgage that says they have any investment in this whatsoever. We looked at it. I dug into this years ago too, don't get me wrong, but I let and today I can tell you I've seen it. There's no relevance to the fact that Ishbia has any ownership or extra incentive into UMortgage, and there never was, except that Anthony and Ishbia have a great relationship. Yeah. I mean, we can't have friends, or we get accused of, he must be carrying us. That's not the case. Anthony and I have both carried our own companies throughout these years. Ishbia is a great partner to us, but he doesn't carry our companies or doing anything extra. He does spend a lot of money on flying our loan officers and our partners out on a monthly basis. And so I'm really grateful for that, because I wouldn't be able to necessarily do that without him. And
let me plainly ask you a question, Mike. Would you be where you are today if it wasn't for UWM?
Absolutely, I would be.
Okay.
I'd be just as far. Look, if UWM's stock price went down to zero and they got delisted and they sold the whole thing and it's gone, it wouldn't matter.
Meaning if they never existed, if they weren't the partner to help you go from your dream to where you are now.
No, I believe, actually, no, I think they were so loud about it. Let's go back to the brawl movement. Okay. The brawl movement was significant for the wholesale channel. So now I don't know if I was just lucky in the right place at the right time, or something told me it's time to go back to brokering, because I went back in 2017. The brawl movement became a big thing in 18. And that was perfect timing for me and for NEXA. It aligned with timing. So that brawl movement to cause that loudness, right? Anthony saying F these guys was a huge movement for the space. But if you look at all the different brokers out there, your biggest causes for the big broker movement in the last 7-8 years is going to be UWM, brawl, and I'll argue all day long, NEXA. Look how many large brokers came from NEXA. I look at this and I say, you guys, this is like Bill Parcells in the NFL, guys. The guy only won a couple Super Bowls, but do you know how many Super Bowl coaches were?
Yeah, let's start with Bill Belichick. That's where the story starts and ends.
Right. But it was right. So how many superstar head coaches came as a result of Bill Parcells? But
is that gratifying for you? Like when someone flies your coop, do you put your arm around them and wish them well, or does that sting?
Not only have we wished them well, we actually helped them get their license. Our licensing team helps them do it. So I don't.
That's what's up. That's what's up. No, I love that. Hey, look. That's when you find out what kind of leader you have leading you. Mm-hmm. When you want to go take the chance they took. How do they act in that moment? Remember that, everybody. Anthony, same question to you.
Yeah, I can't say that I have a different opinion. So I don't think I would be where I'm at without Matt. You have to understand that that's not about this business. That's about, I've been a broker since, going back to 2003. I was a broker during the financial crisis. When I was a broker back in 2011, guys, you know what the average turn time was for an initial underwrite? 60 days.
Oh,
60
Ouch.
days. The IMBs cleaned up the broker channel. There was no wholesale lenders. When UWM came into the game for us, they were around for a while, but when we started partnering with them in 2014, changed everything. This was the first lender that was actually exclusively focused on wholesale, and they changed our business. Like at Garden State Home Loans, we were doing 50 loans a month. We went to 300-400 loans a month because we had a partner that was investing in technology and resources and training. Like, you have to understand that until they did that, they created a market. The Rockets of the world, all these other companies followed UWM. They started investing in infrastructure. They started investing in technology. UWM was so far out that everybody had to catch up. That competition among the lenders is what created this robust, explosive environment. So now today, is UWM, like, do we have the dependency on UWM that we did 10 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever? No, because there's so much competition. There's so many great lenders, eLend, Windsor, EvoLend. Like, we have so many great lender options. But you have to understand, they started it. They built the foundation. They create the competition. And that guy, similar to Mike's a major innovator and leader and just lead by example, doesn't, just runs fast. Matt Ishfield was the guy that ran. Nobody believed in brokers at all. They were the butt of the joke for forever. I know, because every time I went to an MBA conference in New Jersey, everybody would be like, "You're a broker? Ha, 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 ha. What an idiot." But guess what? Fast forward, we went from 7% market share to now we're up to 25% market share, and you have mega brokers like you do today. So my view is from somebody that was a broker through the darkest days of being a broker, and that guy really lifted the channel. So personally, I give him all the credit for rebuilding the broker channel, basically.
All right, just a couple more questions and we'll let you go. Go ahead, Mike, please. Go ahead, buddy.
By the way, real quick, I do want to correct my answer. Everything he said, he's got more of the history down than I do of the channel, so he knew it before UWM. Remember, I came back into mortgages when UWM was already starting to play hardball. So when I came in, UWM was not my first lender that we set up with when we opened up NEXA, but they quickly became the go-to. So I do got to give some significant respect.
Yeah, of course. No. Thank you for clarifying. I understand that. We're talking about different eras here. So you came up in a different time, so the impact just felt a little bit different.
Yeah, I was a broker back in the day before the financial crisis. Anthony stuck to it. I bailed out. I went retail. So.
Yeah. So we're wrapping up here. So just a couple more minutes. I don't know if I've got you guys late for meetings, but we'll be done in 5 or less. So we just talked about 25%, right? Depending on who you ask, that number's as high as 30%. But what we know, we can agree that it was below 10% for a very long time. And so, you have this trajectory, right? And historically, it's made a turn when rates start to get a little bit better because there's more margin sometimes, right? Depending, again, back to our conversation, Mike, what channel you're in. Are you pure full broker? You understand what I'm saying. So my question now is, what is the one fear? What is the one thing that could send the wholesale channel in the other direction? Who wants to answer that?
I'll answer it.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I think right now, I think the thing that everybody needs to worry about, and I don't know if this is wholesale specific, but I think servicing is so important, guys. Like I have to say, as a direct to consumer guy for the first half of my career, and all we did at Garden State Home Loans was retain our customers, and we were the best in the game at it. When I see the servicing consolidation that I've seen, it's really concerning because we're in a 5-year market right now where rates have been high and it really hasn't been a big deal. There's small dips, but it goes up pretty quickly. And that's really what triggered me to make this conversation with Mike, is once he announced EvoLend and I got wind of that, I was like, oh man, he's playing the long game, because servicing is the long game. Rates are going to turn, and everybody that doesn't own their servicing is going to get their asses handed to them. And I mean, I'm talking about handed to them. Rocket, Mr. Cooper, Guild, Lakeview, Carrington, Bound. Like, you look at these mergers, these guys have economies of scale, and they're going to be really good at retention. So if you don't have servicing, it's a big deal. That was a cornerstone of my conversation with Mike. So to me, I think that's a big deal, is retaining the customer.
I'll second that. I mean, if you can look at just Freedom Rocket's ability to retain servicing, their portfolio retainment is like well over in the 90% range. And so any loan officer who thinks that they're really good at following up with their client, retaining their loans, look at the national statistic. You're not as good as you think. So if you're with a company that can help you retain the servicing long term, that's going to be your 3 to 5 year game, because brokers will largely be held to initial purchase transactions in the future with the realtor relationships with, right? But once it gets into servicing, I always say that every time in the correspondent world, every time I sold a loan, right, or any time that I was in retail and they sold my loan, they were selling me out, right? But they had to make a living. That's just the way the industry worked. But now I'm like, no, I think we retain those MSRs and we let the loan officers be involved in the servicing. That way they can retain their book, right? And so I agree. The only other thing that could really hurt us, and I don't see this on the near future, is some sort of just what damaged brokers in the financial crisis is regulatory change. If something crazy came down in regulatory change, I think that could obviously do anything. There's nothing that we see coming down the pike for that. So I agree with Anthony that the market is dictating servicing. So.
Yeah, I want to get to your point, Anthony, real quick, and then I have one last question for you. The one thing I don't think people put enough stock in is if there is a refi run, if something happens, eventually we're going to have one, obviously, right? So I think it's easy to say, well, Rocket's going to dominate, Lakeview's going to dominate, but we have to remember there's a ramp up period. So there's a window there where service takes a back seat. Here's
the thing is they already are ramped up. They already have the economy scale. Like Rocket has $1 trillion in servicing. They're already ramped up.
My point is they can't get. How do they get to all those clients if they're all ringing the phone off the hook? You only have so many LOs.
AI, listen to their earnings calls. Like, dude, they are so far ahead on AI. It's not even funny.
Yeah, but AI's not NMLS registered. They can't sell.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
They can prioritize the data.
Right. The AI will allow them to reach so many people so that the NMLS licensed people can then be the ones talking. Rocket doesn't need that many loan officers to do their max volumes they've done in the past. AI will allow an individual loan officer to become their own call center, their own retention center. AI will allow that. The technology is off the chart incredible. That's why we're building it ourselves at Beverly.ai for the wholesale channel.
Yeah, but I interviewed Jay Bray and Varun Krishna, 3 months ago. I had them on at the same time. And I asked Jay point blank, how far are you away from having an infrastructure that's so sophisticated and so prepared that you can call on every single lead right now that you have at your disposal? He told me 18 months. I have that. So it would take him 18 months to just fulfill what they already could have their arms around without a refi run.
But they have $1 trillion in servicing. That's 18 months to do $1 trillion in servicing. That's a lot of business.
No, my point is when everyone starts calling and wanting to do these refis, I'm telling you, the dam will break for a period of time. There's always this moment of reconciliation where you have to staff up enough and make sure everybody's prepared.
Here's the question. Here's the question, Greg. Who would you rather be? Like, let's be honest. Who would you rather be when rates drop by 2%? Would you rather be them they have all these customers in their servicing?
Oh, for sure. No, that's not the point. That's
in
not
order,
the point.
In order to order a payoff, you got to call them and ask for it. Like, who would you rather be? The guy that owns the mortgage?
Yeah, I understand. No, obviously, that's one of those stated questions.
Are going to win some of that business. There's no doubt.
Of course. Absolutely.
The original loan officers will get some of that business, but they're not going to get at least 70%.
Why do you think Ron just raised his bid on Two Harbors? Why do you think that bidding war just happened for Two Harbors?
To put it to Matt,
I'm sure that had something to do with it. But believe me when I tell you, he didn't. Like, Ron's too savvy to spend $500 million just to put it to somebody. Like, that guy bought $280 million in servicing because he has a plan. He's going to churn the living crap. And Matt was willing to match the offer because the same exact thing. So I think servicing, the question and the answer is this, is what is the one thing that has the biggest impact in the foreseeable future? I think owning servicing is going to have the biggest impact in the next 3 years.
But there's also risk to being a retail lender and having that big of a book. How are they going to distribute that book if they're not wholesale? Are they going to do it with their loan officers? Are they going to pay less? Are the loan officers that go from making 150 on self-gen or 125 going to be okay making 25 to 30? Like, I'm telling you, like,
you're
what?
feeding into me. You're feeding right into me, right?
Dude, look, listen, I told you I've never been on a private plane, bro. I'm just I'm doing it. I'm doing
Wait, come
everything
on,
I
come
can.
on. You're retail. How have you never been on a private plane with all these years? David never took you out there?
No, David never took me out there. No.
What
he
a
doesn't have a
cheap
plane.
bastard.
He
Tell
doesn't
me
have
he's
a
a
plane.
cheap ass, David. You're a cheap
You
bastard.
just told him. You just told him. Hey,
There's
hey, Anthony.
NEXA, brother. We got private planes.
Hey, Anthony. I want to give you this opportunity because there's so many shit talkers out there.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
he built his company, people wrote checks and now they're not getting any money back. And, you know, I know you already addressed this with Housing Wire, but I've got a different audience. It's a lot of eyes and ears on this. And I know that you looked after your people and that was very important in this decision. So I want to give you, you know, the last word to address that.
Yeah, I mean, we did a deal that is there's no me putting myself before the investors. Every single dollar that is part of this deal is equally distributed between shareholders. So, like, I literally structured the entire deal on an earnout basis, and it's 100% tiered towards if we grow, the shareholders get a bigger return. Now, keep in mind, of the shareholders, I'm the biggest shareholder investor. I put in $13 million into this business that I haven't gotten out. The only way for me to get that money back is if all of my shareholders get their money back and a return. So, you know, to me, it's like, you know, listen, no, if you buy a stock high and it appears that you're selling it low, you're going to be upset. I think realistically speaking, if we do what we need to do from a growth perspective over the next 4 to 5 years, our shareholders are going to be made whole and they're going to get a big return. And that's the way the deal has been structured.
I mean, if anything, it gives you an opportunity to call the people that invested, that left,
100%.
to say, oh yeah, now you can actually, you know, there's a payday, you know, on the
Yes.
horizon.
100%. That's the goal and that's the objective. And we're already having a lot of those conversations. I've already had a lot of conversations with shareholders. A bunch of them actually don't work with us and are coming back to work with us at NEXA. So, you know, I actually think once people wrap their heads around what the situation is, then, you know, we'll see it. We'll see the tide turn there.
Can we end this with me showing you one of the most goofy things I've ever seen?
Oh, that's too good.
Mike, are you and I good enough that I can call that goofy or no? Or
Yeah,
are you
but
gonna...
no, you're supposed to cut my wife out. She's not going to like that at all.
Oh, geez. I'm so sorry.
I said, they share the dude in that picture.
My bad. My bad. Hold on.
But she's beautiful then. She's beautiful.
Obviously. Yeah, of course. My bad. But
it was the geek that she was with. I don't know what she was doing with that guy.
Yeah. Well, have you guys had fun? Has this felt kind of loose?
This is great. This is great.
Yeah,
love having conversation with you. Love a healthy debate and some real good convo.
Yeah, I know that everyone out there really enjoyed this, and we'll be sure to disseminate this across all of our platforms. Anthony Casa, Mike Cordes, the newest powerhouse couple in mortgage. Congratulations on the move, and wishing you all the best.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Stick around for a second so we can upload this. All right, don't go anywhere. All right, see you low. Bye. Bye.